Hi, I'm Leonard Maltin. I'm a film critic and historian about to discuss Alfred Hitchcock's To Catch a Thief. Alfred Hitchcock started making films in the 1920s, in the silent era, made a seemingly effortless transition to sound with his memorable film Blackmail, then hit a kind of a peak in the mid-1930s with great films like The 39 Steps and The Lady Vanishes. It was unusual for British films to enjoy real commercial success here in the United States at that time. These films were so well received. They got a bigger release and a bigger audience than anybody ever anticipated. So he came to the attention of American producers. It was the great producer David O. Selznick who brought Alfred Hitchcock here and who produced his first American film, Rebecca, which turned out to be a tremendous success and an Academy Award winner to boot. And then Hitchcock remained and went from strength to strength, reaching, I think, a creative peak in the 1950s, which is just an incredible span of movies, one after another, no two exactly alike. But he became known as the master of suspense. That was his strong suit.
Give them back to me.
What did you have in mind, Francie?
Give them back to me, Mother's jewels.
And at the same time, he became world famous from hosting his own weekly television show for more than a decade. And so he was not only successful as a director and producer, but he became a household face, not just a household name. This movie opened in theaters the same year that Alfred Hitchcock began hosting his weekly television show. Up to that time, though, he'd been a familiar face to sharp-eyed moviegoers because of his cameos in each one of his movies. Not everybody would have known who that was, so I don't know if audiences erupted into laughter or snickers when he turned up on that bus Cary Grant hops onto. But of course, now we know. Hitchcock learned early on that people who were wise to his little cameo appearances wouldn't be fully absorbed in the movie until he made that appearance. I almost certainly saw this film first time on television because I was too young to have seen it in theaters. What I remember from it then is what I treasure about it now. Cary Grant and Grace Kelly, possibly the most gorgeous screen couple ever to exist.
That's why you came up here, isn't it?
We'll have cocktails at 8 and dinner at 8:30, all in my suite.
I think it's fair to say Cary Grant is irresistible, period. He's that way in most of his movies, but this one seemed to be sort of hand-tailored for him. People talk about the prototypical Hitchcock blonde. He saw in Grace Kelly not only a great beauty, of course, but an actress who was sensitive to his direction, somewhat pliable, malleable in his hands, and he gave her consistently great co-stars to work with. And she and Cary Grant just bring out the best in each other.
Inviting me for breakfast, planning a swim, and now this drive. Miss Stevens, I must say you are a girl in a million.
That's a routine compliment, but I'll accept it.
You might say there's a third star in the movie along with Cary Grant and Grace Kelly, and that is the French Riviera.
Oh, lovely day. Have you ever seen any place in the world more beautiful?
It is not beyond the realm of possibility that Mr. Hitchcock decided to give himself a treat, a working vacation, you might say, on the French Riviera, which is almost as beautiful as Cary Grant and Grace Kelly. It's never been better showcased or photographed, that's for sure. This was one of 12 films that Robert Burks shot for Hitchcock. That's a very long, fruitful collaboration. He was a obviously versatile cinematographer who had a great simpatico with Hitchcock, and it won Robert Burks the Best Color Cinematography Award that year from the Academy. The film was made in a process called VistaVision, which, not to get too technical, but the film passed through the camera horizontally instead of the traditional way, from reel to reel, and exposed a much bigger frame. Well, as people have learned seeing movies in IMAX, the larger the frame, the more information can be captured and then stored on that frame. And that means greater resolution, sharper images, and more vivid color. And it looks magnificent. You could just look at Cary Grant and Grace Kelly, and that would be pleasurable, especially in Technicolor.
So this is where you live. Oh, Mother will love it up here.
But here, they're working with a wonderfully witty script by John Michael Hayes, a frequent Hitchcock collaborator in the 1950s. So Cary Grant and Grace Kelly both have something they can sink their teeth into. Very few people get to deliver lines of dialogue with double entendres.
Never had a better offer in your whole life. One with everything.
And yet, it's never dirty-minded. It's never salacious in any way. They had to parry with the censors, but they did so with such elegance that the end result, I can't imagine it offending anyone.
You know as well as I do, this necklace is imitation.
Well, I'm not.
Although when you see the scene where the fireworks are going off outside on the Riviera as they are embracing, the meaning is clear. Alfred Hitchcock may be the first mainstream director of live-action movies to use storyboards. It was a technique he believed in. He had started as an art director. He liked drawing, and so he could express himself and plot out his movie visually that way. He was famously quoted more than once as saying that shooting the movie is the dullest part for him, because thinking about the movie was very challenging and creative, and editing the movie was very challenging and creative. Shooting it was more of a chore, to hear him tell it. And yet, if he hadn't plotted this out so carefully, he couldn't have taken full advantage the way he did of that scenery, of that setting, of those winding roads, and the car chases that take place on them. It's really brilliantly conceived and executed movie.
You're marvelous. Last night you stole a small fortune, and today you lie on the beach with an American beauty.
To Catch a Thief is just pure entertainment. It's populated by the most elegant people imaginable. Wonderful character actress, Jessie Royce Landis, as Grace Kelly's mother.
How come you haven't made a pass at my daughter? And don't say, oh, mother, to me.
Who later played Cary Grant's mother in North by Northwest. John Williams, who we all got to know from Dial M for Murder, is perfectly cast. Charles Vanel, a very prominent French actor who plays the restaurateur. A picture postcard of a movie with a nice whodunit angle, because you don't really know who done it until the very end of the film.
Tell them.
I was working for my father! No, please!
And those are its timeless qualities. I think most Hitchcock fans appreciate this movie for what it is, an attractive and an entertaining vehicle for these two impeccably beautiful stars.